Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Prescribed Fire and Smoke Briefing for Monday, November 20th, 2023. First off, we're looking at precipitation here for the past 7 days on the left and the past 30 days percent of normal on the right. This doesn't include the precip from yesterday, which was quite a heavy precip day for portions of Utah. So the past week, we finally did see some precip move through with this low pressure system, bringing precip to much of northern Nevada and Utah, or much of Nevada and Utah and western Idaho. If we look at a little bit further in the past, this past 30 days percent of normal, we are seeing a pretty good dry trend over southern Nevada and southern Utah. Looking at the snowfall here for the past 72 hours, we did have some snow associated with this system that moved through. A pretty good snowmaker actually in some areas. These shades of light yellow are 6 to 8 inches of snow, and some of the heavier oranges are up to close to 2 feet of snow in those areas. So pretty good snowstorm for mid to late November. Current snow depth is shown here. Again, we did see an increase in snow coverage over the past week, especially the past couple of days with the storm that moved in, from what we were seeing a week ago, even across central and southern portions of the Great Basin. So here these lighter blues are going to be 4 to 8 inches in southern Utah. Higher values across the northern Wasatch we're sitting at, let's see, closer in that maybe 16 to 25 inches, and higher a little bit further north. Looking at the satellite imagery this morning, that low pressure system has moved quickly off to the east for the most part, and we're going to be building in a ridge of high pressure into the western U.S. over the next couple of days before another low pressure system moves through for Thanksgiving. So again, for today, a drier air mass is quickly moving into the Great Basin for clear conditions and gradual warming over the next couple of days. Ventilation rates are still pretty high over southern and eastern portions of the Great Basin, where there are still some gusty winds today, but the values have really decreased across the north. If we take a look at these components here, first the transport winds. Again, we have some gusty winds still in place over southern Nevada, southern Utah, which is keeping those ventilation rates a little bit higher. Mixing heights are pretty low across the entire area. Maximum temperatures today are cool. We won't really get out of the 40s for most of the Great Basin, maybe a little bit warmer across our far eastern area there or far western area in western Nevada, and minimum relative humidities are still pretty high in the wake of that storm system that moved through Saturday into Sunday. But we will see temperatures gradually warm and the air mass dry out over the next few days. So for Tuesday, still looking for that high pressure ridge in place over the area, gradually warming temperatures. Ventilation rates are going to be pretty poor the next couple of days as that high pressure moves in. Light transport winds on Tuesday with low mixing heights. More of the same on Wednesday, especially across the south. So still generally warm and dry conditions across the Great Basin on Wednesday, poor ventilation rates, but we will start to see that trough move into the Pacific Northwest and possibly begin to move into Idaho as early as Wednesday for increasing precipitation there. Transport winds are going to be pretty light on Wednesday, especially Utah and Nevada, maybe picking up just a bit over the central Idaho mountains and western Wyoming, and mixing heights still very low area-wide. The forecasted clearing index for Utah is shown here. For today, because we still have some gusty winds across the south, those values are elevated, southern and eastern Utah today, but after today they really decrease quite rapidly as the high pressure builds in. The 3-day precip totals are shown here. It's going to be a dry couple of days for Utah and Nevada, but by Wednesday we'll start to see some precip moving back into Idaho. On Thursday, that low quickly drops into the Great Basin for a Thanksgiving special. Storms, high elevation snow, low elevation mixed rain and snow into much of Idaho and Utah. Nevada staying on the drier side with this one. Ventilation rates improve by Thursday. And that low still remaining kind of in place on Friday, keeping some precip in the forecast across eastern Idaho, western Wyoming, and northern Utah, northern into central Utah. Ventilation rates are going to be elevated on Friday as well. And on Saturday, the low finally moves off to the east and we see some drier air moving back in. Northerly flow. It's going to be quite chilly actually heading into the weekend with highs in the upper 30s for some of the areas. Ventilation rates are going to be good on Saturday. And then more the same on Sunday, still northerly flow across much of the area, drier. Um, Ventilation rates are fair across the south, but decreasing somewhat across the north and west. And the precip totals for days 4 and 5 are shown here. Again, this is that storm coming in Thanksgiving, Wednesday into Thanksgiving and lingering into Friday. Not super impressive storm totals, but should see some precip over Idaho, Wyoming, and across the higher elevations of Utah. Nevada stays on the drier side, especially western Nevada, but some precip over eastern Nevada with that storm. And the extended forecast, taking us from November 27th into December 3rd, keeps temperatures on the cool side across the basin, but it does look like we're going into a bit of a drier pattern as we head into the 1st of December. That concludes today's smoke and prescribed fire briefing. Please check back on Wednesday for the latest updates.